Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs was on the call with Budget Director Russ Vought today. He joins us now. What does our Dark Knight Rising Russ Vought have in store for really permanently trimming the ranks of the federal bureaucracy? Congressman, can you give us some insight? Because Larry Kudlow said 800,000 jobs are vulnerable to permanent firing.
Well, Russ wasn't that specific as to how many they were going to terminate, how many jobs they were going to terminate. But what Russ was talking about was he said, look, here's the deal. You've got non-essential employees that even their agency has determined they're non-essential. So maybe that's where you look first. And that's something. And he said, also, you got all these grants. Well, there's no way to fund grants right now. So maybe some of those grants go away too. And by the way, Dagan and James, I call this new federalism or intuitive federalism, because what it's going to do is as he shrinks this footprint, and Russ has got more rescissions coming. He's got more plans up his sleeve for this type of stuff. As this happens, these responsibilities go back to the state where they were meant to be all along anyway. So Russ is a smart guy, and the Democrats are paying him some demon. But if you know Russ Vought, he's just a very studious guy, quiet, thoughtful guy. But he just happens to know the budget probably better than most anybody else in the country. And so I'm glad he's on our side.
Okay, but then he knows how large the deficits are. He knows that we now have over 30 trillion of publicly held debt. That 800,000 number, I think 750,000 is the number officially of employees who are not accepted, meaning they're not needed to protect life and property. Given Washington's spending problem, debt problem, this does seem like a moment to ask. If you're not needed now to do the things government is needed to do, send out the Social Security checks, defend the country, protect life and property, what is the argument for keeping those 750,000 employed?
Well, I suppose the argument was right behind Mr. Raskin, who you played in your tease there, where he's standing with all of the labor unions for government bureaucrats. And I guess that's the rationale to keep those employees, is because they're members of a government union. But the bottom line is the Democrats have played a game of chicken here, because they would rather fund illegal aliens' health care than actually get the government right-sized. And so I think that you're going to see some people lose their jobs. I really do.
And I just want to point out before we move on that the continuing resolution from the Democrats does indeed put back in place, it undoes a reform the Republicans passed in the One Big Beautiful Bill that got rid of a financing loophole that directly allowed states to cover the cost of putting illegal immigrants on Medicaid using federal taxpayer dollars. It was a scheme, a money laundering scam. You got rid of it, and the Democrats are trying to put it back. So when you say they want to insure and provide health insurance to illegal aliens, that is a FACT truth. Moving on.
Yep.
Little Miss Self-Important. Go ahead, real quick, Congressman.
I was going to just say, that's page 57, section 2141. It's right there.
Yeah. Little Miss Self-Important AOC says Republicans should go talk to her about the shutdown.
I saw some Republican members of Congress saying, oh, well, if we have this shutdown, it's because of AOC. Well, if that's the case, my office is open and you are free to walk in and negotiate with me directly. Because what I'm not going to do is tolerate 4 million uninsured Americans because Donald Trump decided one day that he wants to just make sure that kids are dying because they don't have access to insurance.
What is she even talking about? 1.6 million of the enrollees would be infected by this premium expansion, which, by the way, is a $500 billion stimulus package that's been handed to people over the last few years who did not need it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fraud and waste that you have in that health system. And that is that's a ton of money. And just, I don't know anybody who said AOC's driving this. We've said the far left of the party is, so I guess she's admitting she's the far left. And by the way, I'll just tell you this. You can't just walk into her door because she keeps her door in the Capitol locked, so not even constituents can get in. So that's the bottom line there. But to be more serious about this, she would prefer literally millions of illegal aliens being able to receive health care provided by American taxpayers than to actually vote for this. By the way, this is the same level, this is the same spending level she voted for before.
Right, and just the ones that aren't illegal, some of them, households up to $600K are benefiting from this Biden subsidy. I mean, I know she's known as the champagne socialist, but this does not seem to be an accurate representation of the people getting these benefits.
No, that's right. And so they ignore that because you really have hundreds of thousands of people who haven't qualified, wouldn't normally qualify, but under the special program that she helped put in place with her Democrat colleagues, and I don't believe a single Republican voted for it, you actually have people that think of it this time, make about 40 times the poverty level, far more than the average income, about 10 times the average income in this country, and they get subsidized, they get free health care. That's
Crazy.
it, man.
Crazy.
Congressman Andy Biggs, it's a $50 billion per year, $500 billion over 10-year subsidy to people, to the wealthy, quite frankly. Let's use their language against them. Congressman Andy Biggs, terrific to see you, sir.
Thank you.